Well, hello there. This is Judith Conrad with EugeneIntuitive.com, and we are here to do another podcast. And this podcast is, as you have noticed, is different than the interviews that you would normally see on this station. So I have invited Robert Pomonis from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, Pleasant Hill, California, to be exact, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, Robert, well, introduce yourself.
So I'm Robert Pomonis, and I'm born and raised in San Francisco, and one of the few natives, and married, and for 41 years living here in Pleasant Hill.
Nice.
And I'm on the healing ministry of the Agape International Spiritual Center under the auspices of Michael Bernard Beckwith.
And we, very good. We know who he is.
Yeah.
But maybe not everyone knows who he is because, he started 40 years ago and some of the younger generation may not have a clue. So tell me a little bit about him.
He is, I would say, like a spiritual master. He is he's all about love and the heart, and about he uses a term called visioning, which is really going deep into your intuitive self and catching the vision.
Ooh.
And so you got to catch it, and otherwise it may pass you by. So visioning is a process that we learn and use, and it's an important part of the Agape teachings. But really, it's about love, and forgiveness, and peace, and joy, and wisdom.
That goes along with the way I like to do the podcast with what I call deep listening and deep questioning. So between the deep listening and the deep questioning, there's that part in the middle, which kind of fits that category of the visioning, to slow down and to really listen to your intuition, to listen to your higher self, to listen to what is that other person saying. And for me, that is the pause. The pause between A and B, the pause between the insight, the intuition, and the message, to be able to, but not just to listen, to respond. It's to really hear the other person.
Deep listening. I like to call that slow time, because
Right. I love it.
Slowing down and just going into my heart space.
Love it.
And listening as a tool for healing, actually.
It's that silence. When we can be silent, the answers are all there.
And you don't have to make anything happen or use any techniques. Just surrender to the divine in and as you.
And you know something? What a concept. I don't have to, cross my T's, dot my I's, and all of that stuff. I can just be and listen. So I encourage all of the people who are watching to just kind of think of how you use, or do you use this, or are you just go, and not stopping to really hear what you're receiving and what the other person is saying.
And I did want to share something that ties into listening. And the title of our podcast today was Becoming Your Authentic Self. How do you become your authentic self? And I had this drawing that I printed this out. It's a smiley face.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, so this is how we're born, and we're just like pure, and we haven't been conditioned by anyone or anything.
Right.
And so I call this sticks and stones. And so you're a child, you're growing up, and let's say you start to absorb your parents' conditioning. I mean, they're influencing you, like not the positive parts, but the not the opposite of that. And so you have like these sticks that begin to, like pickup sticks, they start to cover
Yeah.
you over. And then you go to school and you learn, you pick up things from school, and there's more conditioning laid on you. And so more, you're covered over more.
Right.
And and then um, there's like society, the culture, and what I call the group mind, or sometimes we call that race consciousness, but it has nothing to do with race. But it's so you're all covered over until all those sticks and stones have covered you over until you're authentic. You don't even know who your authentic, or I don't even know who my authentic self is.
Very
So
good.
I just wanted to share that.
But what did I say but for? I don't know. And I think and is more appropriate. Who is, how can you be true to your authentic self when you have all those sticks and stones over you, all the conditioning? So how does, first of all, what is being authentic mean? What does it mean to you?
It means we have we're like, in a way, we're like computers, and we have uh, it's like there's programs running in the background
Mm-hmm.
that we're not even aware of, that are running, and they're influencing us.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to call that your deepest held beliefs that are kind of under the surface that you're not aware of. And they kind of, so the idea is to become aware of what those are. And sometimes you have to have a like a wake up call, like,
Mm-hmm.
why do I even want to do this? And I could share something from my own life. Um, I've been married for 41 years, but I was married once before that.
Mm-hmm.
And that marriage didn't work. And there was like, and I had an idea like why someone would get divorced, like you're either abusive or you're on drugs or all that.
Right.
And it wasn't that. We're just totally incompatible. And I thought to myself, that was kind of the wake up call, because I thought, I'm part of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided at that time that I'm going to change.
Very good.
And how do I do that? And I knew I had to. Mm, well, it turned out to be like spiritual work. I had to do something where I
Mm-hmm.
could have an awareness of what was running, what were those programs
Mm-hmm.
running behind silently. And well, for me, I got involved with a teaching called Science of Mind. At that time, it was called religious science. It has nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
Scientology or
Mm-hmm.
Christian Science. But in those teachings, you begin to look at your beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and just let them. And with agape teachings, you just kind of, you don't push them away, but as you start, this is my own experience, as I started working with myself, doing the work, I noticed that what was running behind the scenes, those deepest held beliefs, started to like bubble up.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be, I could observe them and not push them away,
Good.
and kind of hold them in love. And somehow they started to dissipate. And I don't know if that answers the question, but more of my authentic self started to come forward. And,
Good. Very good.
mhm.
And sometimes it takes that wake up call. And some people have many wake up calls and they try to push them down and suppress them, try to be put on that happy face, and everything's just fine. And then I get to look at doing, like you said, doing the deeper work. And the deeper work has to do with finding out what is my unchanging truth?
Mm,
What is always the positive that's running within me? What values? do I have? And I've settled on that I am kind. And when I can get and just fill my heart with so much kindness, and it's mostly for me, unto me, because sometimes we can love somebody else and we worship them and adore them and all that. They can do no wrong, but then we make bad unto ourselves, and that judgment, that's a killer right there. The judgment of self. I mean, we can stop judging others, but when we look at ourselves, boy, we are malicious unto ourselves. So it's to come to that place of unconditional love. I am so loved. That's my mantra. I am so loved. But then I don't rush off, and I stop and I breathe it in. I am so loved. And I let that be my authentic self. It may only be for a moment, but in that moment, it's 100%. I feel it. So, what do you describe as authentic?
I'm only pausing because I have to go in tune within to answer that.
Perfect. That's what I want you to do.
Authentic is just being who you really are without all the programming, the negative programming, and then the real you comes makes an entrance.
I like that.
And it takes time for that. I've been doing it for 77 years, and so not the whole 77, but still doing the work. And
right.
If you get into that place of you just have to be patient and be kind. And because a person can get into this situation of feeling like a victim, and where you feel like someone's doing it to you, like the universe is doing it. Why me? Why is this always happening?
Right.
So you can get into this victim consciousness, and there's all these various levels, but you can begin to move out of that by doing affirmations.
Ooh, that's you, because I just gave one that I use the capital I, capital AM, which means God. I am so loved. Then another one is I am kind. I'm loving. I'm gentle. And because the ego wants to get in there and do this yammer. Oh yeah, right. And we have this negative mind chatter going. And so I hope all of you who are watching this are getting different things. I would love to have you call in during this podcast. We're going to work on that to have that happen pretty soon. So in the meantime, you can send an email to me, judith@eugeneintuitive.com, and I will reply to you. And whatever information comes to me when I go into that deeper place, that's what we'll have.
Okay. So you expressed beautiful affirmations, and there's affirmations. You can do a vision board, visualize, and the use of the tarot, which you use.
I do.
You do.
And you have a card too that you pulled for us. What is that card? You can show that to the group.
This is called it's called Works. Works. And there's a pyramid there that's lit. And there's 3 circles. And I think the 3 circles mean body, mind, and spirit. Correct me if I'm not right. And everything is coming into alignment. And it's all like one. It's and so for me that means I know what I want to do, and I know what I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm moving forward, and like I'm unstoppable in when I set my intention.
Right.
And would you like to add something to that, Judith?
Right. Well, once we are in alignment with what our body wants, our mind and our spirit, it's like those wheels start turning and it blasts the pyramid up out of, see in the background, there's all this muck and mire, mud, holding us down and not allowing us to be our authentic self.
Mm.
Love it, love it, love it. Glad. and a little secret that Robert took my and his wife Mary MM
Yeah.
took my class how many years ago
Oh God.
in the Bay Area. It was, and I continued to teach the Tarot constantly from that point on. Even when I went to Machu Picchu, here I am, and I was Caliente, down below the Machu Picchu. I'm sitting on the railroad tracks with the little kids speaking Spanish, and they were pulling cards, and I was doing a reading for them on the railroad tracks of all places. So this tool has followed me wherever I go, it seems like, and each one has a different tool. Some have found that the tarot works for them, some don't, but whatever it is, I encourage all of you, as part of being true to your authentic self, is to find what tool works the best to keep you up out of the muck and the mire, and to be light the fire inside of that pyramid so you can blast off.
Mhm.
Because once you get that aha, that's it. Love it. Thanks for showing that again. Thanks for the smiley face that was perfect demonstration of what we're talking about. So any last words you'd like to say, Robert?
Um, Boy, that time went fast.
I know.
I'm just getting started. I, I just want to say, don't forget your heart,
Aw.
and just the love portal is open. And I have so much more to say, but
Right.
time limits us. So
Another time.
thank you for
I
having
like it
us
short and
today.
sweet.
Yep.
And we'll have you back again. And guess what? I believe you're going to be doing your own podcast soon.
Um, I guess so, because you are pushing me in that direction.
I am. I'm pretty well known for that.
Yep. So thank
Okay,
you.
so I'm going to close. And by the way, you can go to my website and watch more of the podcast, eugeneintuitive.com. And I'd love to hear from you, Judith at eugeneintuitive.com. And maybe some of you would like to join me on the next podcast. And we thank you.
Peace and
Thank
blessings.
you. Namaste.
Namaste.